What's up, everybody? We're in One World Studios. It's your man Chuck Creekmur, CEO of AllHipHop. I'm here with two of my AllHipHop cohorts.
I'm Miss Lissa.
I'm J.So.
And we couldn't help but get into this wave of Kanye West. Now we didn't want to do this.
Kanye West.
I'm not gonna be the one to call him a coon, but let's just dive right in, right? So obviously Kanye has been on a tear media-wise for the last week and a half or so. Album is coming soon, obviously. But he says some really inflammatory, polarizing things, and we want to get into it. Again, I didn't want to do this, but we have to do it
because it's important to get as much input about Kanye West as we can, because it's Kanye West.
Yeah.
For the last 15 years, he's been a super important figure in the hip hop community.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to do and say half the stuff he's saying now
is annoying, and it's surprising. Well, it's not really too surprising.
Now, what's annoying? What's not too surprising?
It's annoying that Kanye is using his platform for what he thinks is the betterment of the culture, when really he is suppressing and being one of the oppressors.
Okay.
What is not surprising is the fact that, ever since he became a Kardashian, he started transforming slowly but surely. So it was only a matter of time before his skin complexion changed, see or no.
Oh.
So it's like, once his mother passed away, Kanye started going crazy, and he didn't have, I'm saying it, he didn't have that strong black woman that he had in his mother anymore to hold him down. And it's nothing like that melanin magic. And when you're running around with someone who is not happy with themselves, a la the Kardashian family, they change their complexion, they change their body shapes, they change their noses, they change their hair, they change their men. So if they're not happy with themselves, how can you be happy with you? Your foundation is quicksand, and he's sinking.
Oh my God, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot you just said. Now, first of all, I want to drill down on what you said. Crazy, right? When his mom died, he went crazy. Now, well, first of all, let's just talk about the mental health aspect of it. As we know, mental health is something that is not talked about in the black community, and broadly in the mainstream, it's not really talked about at all. But we know other cultures do therapy. They might get counseling and handle it in a different way. We might get a bottle, or a blunt.
Right. Or treat differently.
Exactly. So if you can, let's just talk about that a little bit. What do you feel as far as, in your opinion, does he have an issue?
Health issue? Yes. Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm. But because just look at the trajectory of his life over the last 15 years. He went from, well, not just the last 15 years, but the last 20, 30 years, because he came into the industry, he was a producer, and then he had to fight to make himself known as a rapper, and then once he became a rapper, he got rich. Once he got rich, his mom died due to his richness, because he could finally afford to give her something that she wanted, and that ended up taking her life. And being that, could you imagine paying for the surgery that takes your mom's life away?
Yeah.
Right. Queen Latifah walked the bike that her brother died on. She did not go down and say, she didn't go from UNITY to let's go sit on the sink and become thotties. She didn't change her whole thought process because of what happened. Yes, he does have issues, but is that how you deal with them? But
that's because she handled it differently.
Jay-Z's nephew died in the car.
But hold on. You can't ever tell anyone how they should mourn or how they will mourn.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, do we give him a pass because of that, or do we say, hey, let's find the right way to help him deal with this?
I'm just saying. I was just answering the question about the mental health thing. That's something that triggered it. Maybe in the beginning, after his mom passed, maybe he didn't address it right away. Maybe he just went into the studio.
Right.
Maybe he put up all these blocks to try not to think about it, and now it's
he's crumbling.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's my thoughts, and this is after talking to several people, interviewing Malik Youssef, who's a good friend of Kanye and really who's somebody I respect greatly. And all these people have kind of said similar things, that Kanye kind of has been Kanye, obviously, for a very, very long time, right? And his mom dying might have been a catalyst for some other things to emerge, but I get the sense that he's the same person from day one. It's just evolved a bit, and now here we are in this day and time, right? Because you got to think about it. Def Jam, he was under umbrellas, various umbrellas. There was different layers to how you got to Kanye West. Now it feels way more unfiltered. There's no label rep between us and Kanye. There's no Jay-Z that might
buffer,
or Dame or whoever, that might pull him to the side.
This is just raw Kanye,
right?
Like uncut.
Absolutely.
But okay, in saying that, still, this is still the Kanye being Kanye, the Jesus walks Kanye, and the I'm walking with Trump Kanye. Like the George Bush doesn't care about us to now saying Obama was Hollywood. This is the same guy. Thanks to Jay-Z buffering and helping. Jay-Z, please get back in his life then. Like, this is what I'm saying as far as kind of having that strong foundation and having real people around you to just keep it real. If you're surrounded by yes men and plastic surgeons, you're gonna be fake.
But the thing is, well, no, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I saw an interview with Memphis Bleek just today, and he said that Kanye cut him off after Memphis Bleek told him to stop paying for prostitutes. Like, this is all on the record. So that there may be some truth to that. Like, there may be some truth to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could kind of tell, because if you watch the Charlamagne interview, everything that Kanye Charlamagne asked him a few questions about like why he does why he said what he said about Barack.
Yeah.
He that's because Barack called him a jackass.
Right.
So he being right.
So that's not right. That's not that far from Trump, right? Because Barack dissed Trump, and then what happened? He came back later on.
But I say that to say every time someone does something to Kanye, he lashes out at them.
Yeah.
Like a tantrum, like a child.
Right.
And it's like, if you're promoting free thought, make sure that you're saying that people should also have facts to back them up. Because if I just want to run around saying the sky is purple because that's my free thought, what is that doing? Like, who is that helping? You're just running around with lies because it's your free thought. Like,
well, this to transition.
Freedom.
Freedom. Okay. Freedom. Okay.
Ooh. Come on.
But the turning point, well, the real turning point was when he wore the Make America Great Again hat. But, and you know what? It's funny because I interviewed Malik Yusef, and he, again, super cool, super OG. He gave me like 45 minutes of pure perspective on the whole situation. But there was one moment in that interview where he was like, well, Kanye, he ain't gonna wear the Trump hat because he knows that's a lightning rod and that's gonna, explode the whole situation. And then literally like the next day or so, he wears the Trump hat. So I'm like, okay, at that point I was like, okay, what are we doing here? What's really going on?
You know, since everything started, I've been one to say, I'm like, I'm gonna just wait to see how it plays out, because I don't know what his end goal is. Like what he's doing, like a lot of stuff that he's saying is ridiculous, right? But I want to see what the end goal is. Like I think eventually, like somehow, some way, it's gonna make sense. I don't know.
Are you complete? Are you?
No.
Okay,
I don't know. Like it.
I'm just not like jumping into like judging him immediately, right? Okay. Because I feel like
you're like the battered baby mama, bro.
No
offense to you, but you're like the girl who gets cheated on, beat on. He's showing you who he really is. You're like, no, I feel in my heart of hearts, this is gonna make sense soon. I know my head hurts, my heart is broken, but sooner or later, because it's Kanye.
I'm just saying, like before, like I just want to see exactly how this all plays out. Okay. Right? To then, like, because we're making, I don't want to like throw my thoughts out before it all plays out.
Right. No, that's understandable.
Like, I want to read it from beginning to end and be like, oh, okay. Now this is why I feel this way. This is why I feel this way. This is why
You're more logical about your thoughts.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a free Kanye thinker.
Well, then let's go to this. Is this album promotion? And that's it. I mean, my thing is, again, if you study Kanye's moves, he doesn't do press. He brags about not doing press. He's bragged about doing very, very little press, but getting the most press.
Right.
And now he's doing what I would say, relatively speaking, a lot of press. 2-hour interviews with Charlemagne. Shout out to him. TMZ, calling in the Ebro here and there. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very different MO than what we're used to.
Right.
Now, the landscape of hip hop also has changed, right? Now that we've seen the rise of so many artists and even the continued dominance of other people like Jay-Z, are we seeing Kanye come in and like, okay, this is the art of war, this is the weaponry I have, and that is the ability to command the press, rather than musically drop a hit record and dominate that way?
You're completely right with that, especially because when his mother-in-law is one of the biggest publicity stunts. Like, Kris Jenner has to have her hands in this. Like, he wore the hat, and then he started talking all that shit, and then he dropped that song with T.I. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit upset with T.I. after that, because it just felt like, T.I., like, are you a part of this? And are you standing with him? Like, yeah, you're supposed to be the people, but it was like, are you trying to resurrect your career as well?
Whoa, easy. Shout out to T.I.
No, I like T.I.
Lissa speaks for Lissa.
The opinions stated are not those of all hip hop as a whole. Just Miss Lissa knows. I do want to know, like, was it that? Because I feel like if Kanye really wanted the people, where was my song? That's the people. That's the people.
Well, first of all, T.I. is his personal friend.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You get your friend to help you.
Right. But that's just natural synergy. I mean, first of all, I just want to say this. You know, shout out to T.I.
Shout out to T.I. I don't want no.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
It's like I'm gonna get beat up.
Shout out to T.I. Because T.I. has been, first of all,
musically.
Hold on. T.I.'s career is not dead by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think it's very, very alive. It's just taking on different forms. The music T.I.'s doing is still magnificent. It's awesome, right? The hip hop changes, so
right. Not to say anything. That's what I'm saying. But the changing of it, and the
right.
I'm talking about his music career. He's already elevating into something else. So you would have to do something with shock value to get people's attention back on your music. I
think T.I. Now, if you follow T.I. on social media, yes, he has a whole huge Instagram post about really where we are now, because it's been quite a few days since that song dropped, and now today. So check his social media. He's definitely saying a different story. But I think his efforts were to go in there and speak some truth to him and drop it. But, you know, again, everything seems to be publicity generated. So they released the footage of that meeting. That was not a closed door meeting. That and everything else, even John Legend's texts have been released. And, you know, everything. You know what I mean? So I'm just wondering, I believe, quite frankly, that this is, it's part of the promotion. I've gotten Def Jam emails talking about these songs, these interviews. It's kind of like Trump, right? When Trump does something, the media pretends to hate it, right? Just like Michelle Wolf said, but I've been saying this, they pretend to hate it, but they built him up, and then now they also profit from tearing him down. Now, for me and AllHipHop being in the media, we try to be as fair and balanced. No Fox, but we try to be as fair and balanced as possible with Kanye. But at a point, you have to have an opinion too,
right? And
it just seems to me like it's promotion time. But again, shout out to Malik Yusuf, because he gave me like such a dope interview and such an in-depth interview. There's a lot of legacy behind this that we don't all want to acknowledge. But Kanye, to me, knows this more than anybody, because if you ever dealt with media, you know that a snippet of what you say can turn into a nightmare.
Right.
Which seems to be the case for him.
Especially this last 5 days.
But his last 5 days have not been snippets. It's been the full hour. It's been like, really? Oh, more? You're not done? You're at TMZ Live now?
Yeah, shout out to the brother Van over at TMZ.
I love him.
Yeah, he really stood up for a lot of us and really spoke truth. So I gotta definitely salute him. But as it relates to the notion that slavery was a choice, now I'm gonna give you my quick thought. There was really no choice. But if you want to say there was a choice, it was either death or be in shackles, or death and be like, the only choice was between death, torture,
or work, till death,
or enslavement. It's not even work, because you get paid for work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, what are your thoughts on this notion of slavery being a choice?
Slavery is a choice now if your name is Kanye and you're choosing to talk that slave talk that you're talking. But as far as back in the day, I mean, these are facts. Like, if you don't have Google, just grab an encyclopedia. Like, there's no need to even try to, like, rebuttal what you know are not facts. Like, but what's dangerous is him saying these things, because it's like, there aren't going to be, with this new generation and things going on, like, all he's doing is being a catalyst for more racism. And that's the sad part. Here we were thinking that this was the man that was putting us on his back, that was going to walk with us and speak for us, and he's them. Down to just putting on the hat. That "Make America like Great Again" is a new KKK slogan. You can't get around that. So it's one thing to say free thoughts, another thing to say, hey, you don't have to be a Democrat. Democratic thoughts are slave thoughts. But it's another thing to say, I believe in this statement. And slavery was a choice.
And like, believe you me, if you ask people when was America great, they always say of a certain age before the Civil Rights Movement. It's always like the early 60s or before. Yeah.
That whole slogan was Trump trying to, it was becoming too blended. We were giving too many equal rights. It was becoming too united. So it was like, hold on, hurry up. Let's make America great. Because even when Kanye was on TMZ Live slandering President Obama, former President Obama, he was saying that, you know, him and his coon friend, whatever her name was, Candace Omarosa.
Do not say Candace Owens, like my man Hex Murder.
When they were on there spewing their lies, and they said that it's only 17 deaths in the year, and that's why we know all the names, and that when they started dropping all their numbers and their statistics.
Deaths of what?
Of the deaths. They're saying that black people kill black people more than white people, and cops kill black people, and we only care when it happens. And that's what Kanye said. And then he said that President Obama didn't care, and that's not true. President Obama had his own organization that he created while he was in office called My Brother's Keeper, and it was for Chicago youth, trying to empower and help them and eliminate the violence. And the day Trump got in office, he knocked that off the roster.
By the way, it still exists under Obama's foundation.
But who's really talking about that?
Not a part of the White House.
Right.
It's a
so
movement.
It's like, it's not cool. So Kanye is dangerous, and the things that he's saying is dangerous.
Well, you know, and that's really what it boils down to me. Like, I wasn't gonna say a thing because I don't really allow personally for those things to dominate my mood. I smile regardless. Mental space.
Right.
But that's where it becomes problematic for me. It's dangerous at this point.
Yes.
It's dangerous for people to try to say that black people chose to be slaves. It's literally ridiculous. In fact, I'll just be real. Kanye tried to say he'd be Harriet Tubman or Nat Turner if he was enslaved. I vehemently disagree with that.
Yeah, let's say it was in the house. Were they in the house? Because Kanye would be in the house, right next to the stove, making sure massive soup ain't too hot. That's what he would be.
Again. Oh, yeah. You know what? I want to shout out T.I. again real quick, because when he did talk to Kanye, he said, Kanye was like, I disagree with half of what Trump says. And then T.I. was like, well, then what do you agree with? And when he said that, it was like, he checked, it was like, and he moved his chest piece like, okay, now, and that was beautiful because because I try to agree with as much of a person. If I don't love you or agree with you, then let's find out some common ground that we can, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's very difficult to find that with a Donald Trump.
Right. And my also question is, if slavery was a choice then, what are we choosing now? Because I don't want the things that's happening. I'm choosing to say I don't want certain things. Don't want police brutality. I don't want black on black crime. I don't want these things. So what is my choice now? When things are still happening, am I choosing that? because I want to fight against it.
Well, here's the thing, man. Obviously, we all have free will, and we all have choices that we can or cannot make. But some people, say a middle class individual or an upper class individual, they clearly have more options than someone who's poor or in poverty, right, or disenfranchised. So I was in a Facebook group that I was invited into. I wasn't even in that group, and they're talking about people selling drugs, and this white woman was just going on and on about it's a choice, and I just went in there and I just said shut up. Right? I don't even tell people to shut up.
Right.
But I said, because somebody invited me to be ignorant. They were like, we need you to come into this group.
Shut it down real quick.
Right. So I said, shut up, because it's not that simple. It's like someone said, again, shout out to my man Hex Murder. He said, it's like saying that the people in prison could run the prison, but the guards, they're just choosing to be in prison.
Right.
That's not 100% true. Like, in fact, that's completely false. But the ideas around poverty, who chooses to be there. There's an excellent documentary called White Like Me, and I encourage anybody, white or black, watch Tim Wise's White Like Me, which is on YouTube for free. It's about an hour-long documentary, and the documentary spells out white privilege. Legally, opinion-wise, in every way, shape, or form, it lays it all out, from Vietnam vets, black and white, to laws that give white people money, to the perception of poverty, right? Because like in the Great Depression, you would see the face of white people and they, it'd be like this, and everybody felt bad for them, and they weren't lazy, shiftless, or any of those things, or they didn't choose to be impoverished, but they were poor and all that. But then when it changed visually, it turned into these Negroes are lazy, shiftless, don't want to work, don't want to be fathers, don't want to be parents, and the perception changed. Meanwhile, we know that along color lines, white on white crime is about 85% and up. Right. All crimes occur along color lines, period. That's a fact. As far as poverty, there are more white people in poverty than black people. But they vote along their racial lines, privilege lines, and lines that they perceive to work for them, because they know that they're holding that American dream carrot right in front of them, and they know that it's almost there, but they never really get it. They never get it. So it's problematic, and Erykah Badu said that's the woke word of choice, problematic. Shout out to Erykah Badu. But where does this all go in y'all's opinion? Like, where are we headed? Because I ain't gonna lie, like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm sick of it. I want to focus on like my family, smiling, this good weather.
Yeah.
It's
J. Cole, who has a dope album, like the music. You know what I mean?
False Prophets was ill. He already let us know about this before.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
I mean, as far as for me, I do disconnect, because this will, like you're saying, it'll drive you crazy, and it's all propaganda. Like, it's all to do this to your mind. I feel like it, for us as a unit, we need to be more communal. We need to stop trying to be equal and just be great. We need to build, and we need to empower and encourage more black on black love. Like, and we need to exactly. When it's your birthday, instead of going to your favorite bar, that's I don't want to name anybody that's not paying us, but find a black owned establishment and bring all of your friends there and pour into your own community, so that we can build a wall. Black Wall Street. That's the wall I want.
Okay, no doubt.
Where do I think it's going? Where I would like it to go is, to piggyback on what she said, is like, just to continue to build with each other. Like, it's super important to have us on our side, because then we won't need to. Then, like, there would never be another Kanye West if we built each other up.
Right.
Because I listened to the Joe Budden podcast, and somebody said something to the degree of Kanye wants to be a rich white man, and when you think about it, that makes perfect sense, because everybody he names like Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, like all those people were just white men.
Yeah, right.
And if we worked together, we would have other black people to name. Like, okay, now I want to be Jay-Z.
Right.
Or now I want to be Chuck Creekmur. Oh, now I want to be J.So. I want to be Miss Lissa.
Yeah.
Like I want to be Oprah. I want to be Issa Rae. Like, it's so many different names you'd be able to name if we just help each other grow.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, shout out to again Malik Yusuf. He's a good music artist who I talked to, and one thing he said to me that resonated is that he doesn't hate anyone, right? He doesn't hate anybody. He actually loves people based on his principles. And I think that's something that we should note, that like we don't hate Kanye West. It's really, I think, out of love. Huh? Disappointment. Yeah, it's a unwritten sort of contract between you and the community, that you go out, you represent us, and when you don't represent us, then it's time for us to check that as well.
Right.
So in the interest of love, as a black-owned business, I encourage Kanye or whoever else out there to interview with AllHipHop.
Right.
You know, TMZ is not of the community or of hip-hop. Love Charlemagne and a lot of those other guys, but those other companies are not of our community. They are owned by large corporations that don't have brown faces at the very top. So I encourage Kanye to give us another interview, because I've only interviewed him once myself.
He needs that follow-up, bro. I got a lot to catch up on. Come on and support black.
Yeah. So maybe we could get that, because that's a good give back, but also more importantly, it's really talking to the actual people.
Yes.
You know, the actual people. And again, that's no slight to Charlemagne or Ebro. I respect those guys, and I think they do great work for where they are. But you know, we need to again do a follow-up and give an assist to Kanye to get back in the good graces of the
Black
community.
Twitter. Black Twitter.
I love Black Twitter.
I love Black Twitter. Love Black Twitter.
Hashtag,
if slavery was a choice.
Oh, yo, I've been crying
that,
all
if you
day,
haven't seen
man.
it, hashtag if slavery was a choice. The comedy.
It just
I had to turn it off.
Taking the issues and really using comedy to shine a light and really invoke conversations. And shout out to you, Chuck, for doing this as well. Like, you're amazing.
Oh,
come on. You out here supporting black, you out here uplifting, and you're also mentoring the youth, all simultaneously.
Appreciate that.
I do appreciate you. And you too, come on, Jay, come on, let me see them fists. Black power, come on. Let us melanate and be great.
Shout out to Kanye. I just hope that album is fire.
Yo, I think it's
gonna be lava.
I think it's gonna be fire.
I hope that he not gonna mess up Tiana Taylor album too with these crazy thoughts.
Well, she wrote her album.
He's producing the music. I hope the beats are still good.
And I pray Nas is not collateral damage, by the way. I pray if he's producing
I don't think those albums gonna drop on the dates they gonna drop. He said they gonna drop though.
Okay.
Especially not Nas.
Okay. Especially not Nas. All right.
But
so much to talk about.
I think that Kanye album will be fire.
It better.
I think so.
It gotta be.
Like for you to be this off your rocker, bro. Like, come on.
I'm not gonna lie. Part of me don't want to listen to it just so you don't get that play. Hope you get 0 plays, bro.
Yo.
I hope none of this works.
Yo, we out. Shout out to DJ Boy Wonder and One World Studios.
Yes.
That's where we at with it.
Deuces.
All hip hop, all the time.